I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Oh. That's reassuring. I mean, I'll give credit. That's an effective visual. Forgotten Castaways is a pretty big story mod for Outer Wilds that adds 6 to 8 hours of content to the game. It focuses heavily on Dark Bramble, telling a new story with new characters and some great puzzles and set pieces. If you own Outer Wilds for PC, I highly recommend leaving this video now and playing the mod for yourself. A link for the download is in the description. This video also has spoilers for the base game and the Echoes of the Eye DLC, although the story of the mod likely won't make much sense if you're not familiar with the story of the base game. With that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so this is Forgotten Castaways, which is a mod by Coder Cleric, at least mod led by them. This mod has achievements support. Yeah, so I guess let's just play the mod. So I actually have no idea how this mod goes. Hi Slate. You have no new starting dialogue. That's sort of a common thing that mods do, is they'll have Slate tell you like, oh, you never noticed the giant alien spaceship in orbit around Dark Bramble? You should go to it. I suppose the other thing people often do is they might put a new exhibit here at the museum/observatory. Yeah, so nothing new down here. Okay, so I do have no ship logs. There is nothing that has been revealed to me. Yeah. I'll just sort of start with the standard Dark Bramble stuff of trying to find, what's their name? Feldspar? Oh, dude, why is this one gotta be about Dark Bramble? Spoilers. The anglerfish can't hear you if you make very slight adjustments. Okay, Feldspar. My dear friend, do you know anything about this mod I'm playing? I can't believe you didn't die. Unfortunately, you have nothing new to tell me. Since Feldspar had nothing to say, I went to Escape Pod 3 to make my way to the vessel to see if that's where the mod started. Our escape pod crashed as we tried to flee this place, destroying our movement and communication capabilities in the process. We've held out as long as we could here, but this pod's supply of breathable air is nearly depleted, and the anglerfish attack more and more frequently. Our best chance at survival is to return to the vessel to either repair the damage or, more probably, await rescue. Sekka, is the message finished? The vessel's beacon is already growing fainter. It will be gone in a matter of hours. We need to leave here quickly. There is a new problem. Our equipment is detecting 2 distinct beacons from the vessel, but it is impossible for the vessel to be in 2 different locations at the same time. We will follow the beacon whose source is nearest to us. But suppose that beacon is false, we likely don't have enough air to reach the farther of the 2 beacons did. The decision is made for us. So anyway, I don't actually know that this is the start of this mod, right? I have nothing else to go off of. To any who come here searching for us, we followed one of the 2 beacons from the vessel to this place, but now we can go no farther. It's almost too faint to hear now, but the vessel's beacon is still faintly emitting from within this thorny seed. Yet the opening is too small for even a single Nomai to fit through it, so our escape pod couldn't have flown through here. I don't understand how this could be possible, but this gruesome place seems able to manipulate space itself. Maybe this was our undoing. To be so close to the location of the vessel and still so far is difficult. Worse, the vessel's beacon is dying. Soon, we will be unable to hear it. There is nothing we can do now but try to perhaps find a way inside, or at least attempt to comprehend why this happened. My dearest hope is that the other escape pods were able to reach relative safety. Yeah, what a tremendously tragic game. No one else has like a secret bit of dialogue they want to share? Suppose not. Here's a mod idea. Someone should make One where it uses your microphone at all times, and if you make any sound as you go past the anglerfish, they kill you. Okay, and there we go. This is new. I have not seen this. I don't recall seeing this. This is new. Azola, what are you all still doing here? You should be on an escape pod and leaving. Sinetti, we tried, but the pod on the far side of the ship is entirely blocked off. We cannot reach it. Nasia says, unfortunately, that seems to also be true of the pod on this side. We seem to be stranded. Ocalis says, how are we going to escape from this place? The vessel is our only source of oxygen, so we are unable to just fly away from it. Azola says, despite the frightful appearance of our environment, we do not seem to be in any immediate danger. We should regroup on the bridge and come up with a plan from there. Ocalis, or Ocali, or Ocalis, I don't know how to say plant names. Ocalis says, so, what exactly is our plan of escape? Do we try to fly out? Nasia says, I fear that such a contemporary strategy may not work here. The vessel is registering very strange readings from the surrounding environment. It is possible that space does not function normally here. Sinetti says, what are we to do then? The warp core is damaged, so we cannot simply warp out the vessel. Ocalis says, perhaps we still can. We have many smaller warp cores throughout the vessel. Perhaps we can use a black hole core to escape. Nasia says, I do not believe that such an endeavor would succeed. A warp requires both a black and white hole, and we have no core with which to establish a white hole. Ocalis says, I believe that it is still worth attempting, especially seeing as we currently do not have better ideas. Nasia says, I will concede that it is currently the best idea we have. And Azola says, it is settled then. We will attempt to construct a makeshift warp device using one of the smaller black hole cores. I suggest that we do this in the lower bridge, as that area is both near the existing warp circuitry, and it should be easy to create a small area of artificial gravity down there so that we can work. Oh, they said a small bit of artificial gravity. They weren't kidding. So that should be the last of the circuitry in place. Is the warp core prepared? Yes, it is, although this seems to be the only functional black hole core left in the vessel. Okay then, go ahead and slot it into place, and we will see if this somehow works. Wait, how did that work? It should be completely impossible for that to function. Yes, I told you it was worth attempting. So Kalis is doing pretty well here, and the Nasia is a bit of a doubter. Sinetti, that means we can escape. I cannot wait to reunite with the rest of our clan. I had started to worry that we would never see them again. Spoilers, they never see them again. Azola, let us not delay then. There is no telling how long that core will be able to hold the singularity open. Everyone go through. Yeah. Okay, so now I need to come here again. Hooray. And I need to bring a black hole warp core. Oh, I see now why they put the the small gravity thing. Is because you can only drop items if you're in gravity. You can't drop them in 0G, so you wouldn't be able to swap this thing out. Or to swap it out, you'd have to like pick it up. You know, go on your ship, fly to another planet, drop it on the ground. Yeah, it'd be very goofy. Okay, where can I find a black hole core? I don't suppose there are any on Timber Hearth. Obviously the high energy laboratory on Ember Twin would have some, but then I'd have to remember how to get in there. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that by the gravity cannon, there is a shortcut. Alright, skipping over like 7 minutes of navigating the shortcut, and we're there. I will take this. I'm surprised that I've managed to not spoil myself on this mod, because it's been out for a bit. It was in development for even longer. But yeah, I'm surprised that I haven't spoiled myself on this mod. I would say that the main thing that I have been spoiled on is, and I completely forgot about it until it started happening, but it's just that there is this sort of like warp section. I knew that at some point warping would happen because I worked on the sort of underlying mod framework that this uses, and then there was some bugs that were reported. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I see no reason not to go through that. And now let's see if all the bugs were fixed at some point, or otherwise, you know, in the modding framework or just in this mod itself. It's occurring to me I'm not gonna have my my ship anymore if this is where the mod takes place. Nessia says, unfortunately, it appears that our gamble has not quite paid off how we wanted. It would seem that we are still trapped within this strange place. Zanetti says, what are we going to do? We have neither the means to return to the vessel nor a source of oxygen. If we do not act quickly, this will almost certainly be our final resting place. Yeah, this doesn't seem to have worked out very well for you guys. I can only hope that there's no anglerfish in this part of Dark Bramble. If you squint through the fog, there appears to be holes in the walls that surround us. As much as it pains me to say, we may need to split up in search of oxygen. I see 6 holes in the walls. We will each select one and attempt to locate a reliable source of oxygen on the other side. Once one is found, return here and wait to lead the others to it. With any luck, this plan will see us all through this endeavor alive. Visibility in this place is far from optimal, so I will leave a signal beacon here to ensure that we can find our way back. If luck is on our side, it may also lead other Nomai to our current location. I got an achievement for that. That's not even an achievement from this mod. First marker. Okay. Or I guess, yeah. That seems to be the only trail. So like one of the Nomai said, just pick a direction and go. What? Ow. Oh my goodness. Look upon this tree, friends, and know that it symbolizes all we need to survive in this environment. We are Nomai, and we will live so long as we have anything to hold on to. So long as this tree stands, our time is not yet through. So long as this tree stands, we can survive this place. Well, tree's still standing. And Collis says, curiously, we all seem to have emerged from the same wooden knot, a mere few feet from each other, despite the fact that, when we left, we were all quite far apart. Suppose that this place does not obey Euclidean laws. What if that wooden sphere is actually the one we found ourselves in, but we were smaller when inside it? What an intriguing idea, Nessia. Suppose that, instead, these spheres allow travelers to instantaneously teleport between them. Assuming what you said to be true, that might explain how we were able to warp earlier. What if this place interfered with our warp? Could it have done the same to the vessel? Zanetti says, friends, while the curiosities of this place intrigue me as well, I believe we should focus on securing our survival first and foremost. As Zola says, Zanetti is right. As much as we may desire to study our environment, our first priority should be to locate oxygen and somewhere to construct shelter. Alcalis says, I believe that I can see a number of small planetoids over there. Could they be a candidate? Nessia says, I see the objects that Okalis speaks of. There appear to be 5 small planetoids, and I believe I can see a tree on one. The tree will provide us oxygen, and we can set up basic shelter on the planetoids themselves. One of them seems noticeably smaller than the others, so we should use it for building materials. Based on what we have seen thus far, it may be worthwhile to establish names for the wooden cavities we find ourselves in. Does anyone have a suggestion for this one? It seems quite spacious. We should keep it simple but descriptive. I believe that the name Briar's Hollow should work well. Sure. Right, my ship logs are being updated, but I don't I don't have a ship. Okay, so they have like beds in here. Who's responsible for the campsite on the large planetoid near the center of Briar's Hollow? It represents an excellent location for us to build more permanent residence, and I'm quite shocked that someone is keeping it to themselves. I've been here putting together shelters. I did not realize there were any other bodies out there. I've investigated the surrounding area some, but I have not yet located this large planetoid that you speak of. I am inclined to believe our friends, Nasia, and I do not believe that any of our clan would be willing to keep such a secret from the group. Are you certain that the campsite you saw could not have been a natural formation? I'm absolutely certain. There was a small ring of stones with still smoldering firewood inside. Quite an interesting find, Nasia. We should make our way over there and investigate at once. Do you recall where we can find this planetoid? I was concerned that I would be unable to find it again, so I planted a signal beacon near the strange campsite. And then we should go there at once. If there are other sentient creatures here, it is imperative that we determine their level of hostility as soon as possible. Are you saying that there is a campsite in here that none of us made? That would imply there are other sentient beings here besides us. Is it possible that the campsite was made by other members of our clan? Perhaps they followed us through our makeshift warp setup and are stranded here as well. As much as I would hope for your hypothesis to be true, there were no other structures indicative of Nomai presence, and it has long been outside of our culture to construct campfires. So it's sort of these characters, like Nasia and Ocalis kind of butt heads a bit, and then it's sort of unclear to me if like Azola or Senetti is sort of like the leader. I feel like Azola was kind of like saying like, it's settled, that's our plan. Whereas Senetti's just kind of hanging out. Okay, so I know now that I can follow a signal with my signal scope, but I just want to check for more buildings on this tiny planet. I was wondering how they would, because I knew the mod was all about Dark Bramble, and I was like, wow, that must make for like some really repetitive environments. You know, but these little planets, there's nothing in this building. These little planets, well, for one, they make me kind of nauseous to fly around. But as a second point, they give us something more interesting to explore. Okay, I think that was everything. I can only assume this is the... I assumed incorrectly. That is so far away. Unfortunately, this body may simply be too small for any effective structures to be built here. It may still have some use. For instance, I believe that this rock may be showing us a possible escape. Ocalis might be correct. Looking past this wall, I can just barely make out a place where the wooden enclosure seems to end. If this is true, we should investigate immediately. Escaping Briar's Hollow is our first step towards finding the Eye. That's great. You guys are jumping straight to finding the Eye of the Universe already? You guys set up camp for like 5 minutes and you're like, well, back to the mission. I would caution you against raising your hopes, Ocalis. We have already seen that this environment is far from easy to navigate. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, that's, yeah, that's a way out. Besides, we got 2 options. We got campfire. So, screw it. I'll just try to go towards this other trail marker. And I have so little fuel that I don't want to accelerate any faster, because then I need to stop myself at the end. Yeah, so that just kind of looks like Timber Hearth. You guys better have fuel on this thing. I was gonna say, this is a much nicer place to set up shop. Okay, they got a lot of stuff going on now. So Senetti's saying, during my most recent trip to the Eye Signal Lab on Magma's recursion, I noticed that one of the gravity crystals had fallen from its mount and cracked. Due to the high cost of production for these crystals, it may be worthwhile to develop a means by which they can be repaired. I have brought the crystal here for study. And Nasia is saying, I would help, but I am currently fully occupied working on the Distant Node project. Unfortunately, I suspect that this is true for all of us, so it may take some time to develop a means to repair this crystal. And Senetti says, I understand. I hope we have time to develop a method of repair soon, however, as I worry other crystals may also fall. And Ocalis has good news. It seems our friends may have found a way to repair the gravity crystal. If you are interested in learning more, I suggest making your way to the concert hall. Okay, who the heck are your friends? Currently, analysis of the soil composition indicates that this body may be composed of the remnants of many others. Do you mean to say that this planetoid is composed of debris from planets that ended up in this place after their destruction? I do. The trees also show characteristics from many catalog species which, combined with the unique set of nutrients they draw from the soil, may explain the strange color of the fire in the campsite. So this bramble captures planets, or at least planetary fragments, with such frequency that they are able to congeal into completely new bodies. We have like a broken gravity crystal that I might as well carry around with me, although I don't think I'm going to get very far, considering I have no fuel. I'm gonna, like, if there's a door to this, am I actually gonna be able to make it to the door? Okay, there's no door. Huh? I don't... What does this do? They got anything else on here? But yeah, I never actually found the trail marker. Might as well go get that. Oh, and there's a lot going on down here. Oh, don't tell me. Okay, phew. It is down here. Camp marker. I don't think I should even bother trying to read all this text. Okay, I got bored. I'm reading. One of our new friends actually approached me today. Okay, never mind. Here's a question. Do I have to repeat that entire setup every time? You know how your ship is outfitted with a warp drive you can use from the ship log? No, I didn't know that actually. Well, it's also able to analyze some warp signatures, so if you happen to come across any strange singularities, you might be able to go to where they lead and back using your warp drive. It's also able to pull data from your suit, so it can let you warp your ship to locations that you could previously only access without it. Oh, one more thing. Here we go again. If you have your signal scope focused on a signal and press your lock-on button, you can lock onto whatever the signal is coming from. That's assuming you've fully identified the signal, of course. I was wondering how they were going to do that. I'm not a fan of people making the warp drive canonical. The context being that, like, I made a mod thing. I put a warp drive in the ship. That was a mod thing that I made. That was a thing in a mod that I made. I put a warp drive in the ship. It's not meant to be accurate in any way to the lore. So I do think it's a bit unfortunate when story mods sort of use it as if it were a real mechanic. So yeah, here, like, we've locked on to Deep Bramble. We're gonna warp our ship there. Because yeah, I was very sort of immersed in the story, and this sort of takes me out of it very briefly, which I think is a shame. You know, even though, of course, I much prefer this to having to repeat that entire setup process. You know, I'm glad they put a shortcut to get back in. I just kind of wish it was something that fit into the universe of the base game a bit better. And I acknowledge that this is a this is a thing of my own creation. It's sort of a nice bit of progression, though, to do the first loop without your ship and then come back. I'm curious to see now what my ship logs look like. So there's Bramble's Doorstep, Titan's Tears, and Lover's Rock. That's cool. That's a nice mechanic they've added, though. That's the thing I like as well, when mods will sort of just add like a new mechanic that is broadly useful outside of just being like a one-time gimmick for their mod only. I think this is the one I was reading. So Kalis is talking about these aliens they met. As a matter of fact, they led me to somewhere quite interesting. Do you know of the wooden knot that lies in the center of Briar's Hollow, the one that leads back in through an infinite loop? They took me through there, and contrary to what normally happens, we arrived in an enclosed space. I've passed through the knot you speak of, but I have never arrived anywhere that sounds similar to what you describe. Confuses me as well, Nasia. I am unsure of how to access that area again. I assume you gotta hold something. I have a hypothesis. I have noted that the hole one uses to enter that central knot lines up with where they will re-enter this larger area. If we can locate the exterior of the enclosure that you speak of, we may be able to find the hole that will lead us into it. Okay. Well, that makes more sense than holding something, I guess. And Sanetti's saying, how strange. What was that space like? It seems to be okay. That's alien language if I ever saw it. It seems to be a completely overgrown entrance to Briar's Hollow. They beckoned me through another node, although I did not follow them through for fear of being unable to find my way back again. Error unknown language. Is this our new friend's writing? How exciting! Sinetti, are you able to understand what they've said? Unfortunately, I will need to analyze it more before I can determine what this text says, though I can assure you I will begin work on my translation as soon as possible. And if a member of this other species desires for us to follow them, it may be worthwhile to do so. They have demonstrated they are not hostile, and they may know how to escape from this place. I've been looking forward to a mod adding another alien language. I don't think anyone has actually done that yet, at least of the mods I've played. I'm starting to think, could I be reading these in the opposite order that they are intended? Here we are, friends. Yeah, I think I was reading them in reverse order. The campsite I had mentioned previously. There are still a few embers among the logs. It seems likely someone was here fairly recently. Perhaps we will be able to meet them if we remain here long enough. If they were here before, they are likely to return. This may not be wise. We have no idea whether or not the inhabitants of this place are friendly. I believe we should avoid constructing large structures here for the same reason. Even if these people are friendly, they may not take kindly to us treating this body as our own. And Akalis is saying, amazing, this body is almost entirely covered in grass and trees. How do you suppose it manages to sustain life in a place like this? We may need to erect a small lab to study the origins of the soil and plant life to properly understand this. Oh my goodness, I was hiding behind one of the trees on the upper ring and observed one of the campsite occupants return. They did not notice me at first, however when I moved out from behind the tree to try to make contact, they turned toward me before fleeing. Notably, they appear to swim through the air using the webbing on their hands and feet. Very interesting, especially given your note that they did not appear to have eyes. Did they seem to have any obvious reason for returning? They appear to be looking for something. It appears to be some sort of painted tablet? Perhaps I should attempt to return it to them. While we had previously decided that it was best to not initiate contact, the fact that they did not attack you seems to indicate they are not hostile. Because of this, it may be best for you to return the item. Sinetti's saying, what do they look like? Did they seem friendly? Worry not, friend. They did not seem to be hostile. I was fairly far away, so I did not have an ideal view of them. They have large, ear-like frills on both sides of their head, a large tail, as well as webbed hands and feet. To top it all off, they seem to have no eyes. How do you suppose they navigate without vision? I'm uncertain, but they did seem to notice me when I stepped out from behind the tree. Perhaps they possess some form of echolocation? That's fun. I feel like that's a sort of a trope, almost, that people have been talking about for story mods. Sort of how the Hearthians have 4 eyes, the Nomai have 3 eyes, and the DLC they have 2 eyes. The eye has 1 eye because it's the eye, so why not make aliens with no eyes? Friends, I'm pleased to announce that I was successful in my attempt to make contact with the stranger. We're getting lore dumped right now. Were they appreciative of your attempt to return their item? Maybe. I avoided hiding this time, and upon returning to the campsite, they slowly approached me, apparently having noticed that I was holding their tablet. I held it out for them to take, and upon grabbing it, they promptly turned around and left. It appears that they may still be somewhat scared of us, if they fled that quickly. As for their appearance, I confirmed what I observed previously. In addition, their teeth seemed to be sharp to a point. Their body was covered in gray skin, and they did have small recesses in their skulls where eyes might normally reside. These gonna be like weird, like anglerfish people. They're blind and gray skin, aquatic appearance. Okay, yeah, so Akalis made contact with one of these guys. Now Sinetti's saying, on my way over here this morning, I felt certain that I saw shapes flitting about in the fog. Has anyone else observed this phenomenon? Azola says yes, and that it might be their strange neighbors keeping an eye on them. Nasia says, yeah, I noticed that too. And Akalis says, one was stationed directly outside my window this morning, but ran off as soon as I stirred. What should we do? I suspect that they will be the ones to make the first move. Remember, stay with one another, and do not behave aggressively. So yeah, let's see what else they have on here. They have the treehouse. There was the soil lab. That seems to be it for this planet. What's this over here? Is this where I started? No. This is a different seed altogether. Warning, this node is dangerous and is set to be destroyed. Nothing except shrapnel has ever been retrieved from here. Under no circumstances should you enter. If you're unable to destroy the node, insert the poison into the receptacle attached to the side of the node. I gotta be real with you, I really want to enter now. Oh, and now I've lost my scout. Okay. I mean... Oh. That's so strange. Well... I guess I'll die. Oh, what the heck is that? That was mildly terrifying. So are they friends with these guys or not? Oh, hey, that's nice that I just respawn in here. The dangerous node. Going into the node seems to end the loop instantly, although I can see some strange creature turn towards me just before my vision fades. When I fire my scout into the node, it fails to acknowledge any recall requests for several seconds. And yeah, the node at the center can get you into a new area. Alright, how am I to determine where the center is? Oh, there we go. So this is the recursive node. Okay, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take a look at that signal. Amplified ambience. So here's Nicaea. Okay, after leaving the area through the opening we found near Titan's Tears, we seem to have emerged into another large open space. Alcalis, can you verify the signals of our friends can be found within the node we just left? Give me a moment. Yes, I can detect their signals coming from the node we emerged from, although there's a large amount of interference. Excellent. That indicates that we should be able to return. My apologies for the interruption, Nicaea, but I'm also detecting their signals in that direction. Interesting. Do you suppose we have arrived back into Briar's Hollow? Suppose this node is recursive in some way? That would explain the curious signal I'm detecting coming from it. If it truly is recursive, then the signal may simply be the ambience of this chamber amplified through multiple passings through this node. Okay, so I don't even really need to check. It's just like one of these, instead of leading back into this empty space, is instead going to lead... Shiplog updated. I don't want to go in there, man. There's the weird fish people. I don't like the weird fish people. They say they're not hostile. I don't believe them. I think they're evil. I guess I'll go through. The heck is that? Why is there a glowing thing? Why is it so dark? Why is this planet like cracked in half? So Sanetti's here. This park appears to be the main social center for these people. I would greatly enjoy deciphering their language, but as it stands, I have nowhere to do my work nearby. The alien we first made contact with, assuming I am correctly interpreting their message, is directing us to set up a lab for just that purpose. Well, if that's true, then I'm thrilled to hear it. Where are we permitted to put this lab? That appears to be the catch. We seem to be intended to construct a lab in the area accessible through the knot currently over our heads, which has no bodies with significant gravity. Additionally, while I have been assured that it is quite harmless, there does seem to be some manner of beast in that area. The lack of gravity issue, while frustrating, can be tolerated. As for the beast, if it means deciphering the language of these people, then I will be able to power through, regardless of how hideous it may be. Nessie is here now. We all appreciate your courage in the pursuit of discovery, Sanetti. I believe I may be able to assist with your gravity issue. I have detected a strange signal in Briar's Hollow that seems to be some manner of natural gravitational disturbance. That is quite an interesting find, Nicaea. Now that we are better acquainted with our newfound friends, I propose you and I investigate that signal at once while Sanetti and Alcalis begin constructing a translation lab. You tell me there's a beast in there. Is the beast an anglerfish? Or is the beast some unfathomable horror? Oh. There's a lot of beasts in there, actually. My ship fit? My ship really does not fit. I don't appreciate this. Well, at least the big one's dead. We take those. Are the small ones still big enough that they'll eat me? I'm gonna say yes. Wow. Okay. Oh, they latch right onto you. That's... That's fun. I like that. That was a good time. So in Outer Wilds fashion, I assume there's some way to get them to not latch onto you. I assume the answer is not to like expertly dodge them and get into the building really quickly. So the mod also does a custom title screen once you progress far enough in it, which is pretty cool. I don't remember how I got there. I didn't expect that. What is this? Okay, yeah, right. This is the enclosed part. And it's because you have to enter in from this side. I'm not doing a good job flying. Please, come on. Do I want to go down into the center of this? Okay, what's this? Their performance was beautiful. I never suspected that these people would have such wonderful vocalizations. Suppose that the physiology of their vocal organs are different from ours. I fail to even imagine how one of us might create those sounds. We will have to see what Senetti can discover once he completes his analysis of these people's language. I know it is for a good reason, but I still struggle to understand how he was willing to miss this performance to continue working. Hopefully he has an opportunity to relax soon. This must be the entrance to the concert hall, and I cannot read that. I guess I do wonder what are the odds that, much like in Echoes of the Eye, that it's sort of a red herring, the idea that you could ever translate the language. So this is Azola. Good news, friends. We have been given approval to take part in the tradition of sharing our culture in this concert hall. Our new neighbors state that as long as we refrain from constructing walls which interfere with the concert hall's acoustics, we are free to write in here. Now, is this communicated to you without the use of language? That is good news. I imagine us writing here will also allow for our new friends to leave thoughts of their own. I look forward to seeing the similarities and differences between our cultures. I imagine it will be quite interesting to observe. I'm holding out that there's going to be like some twist where all the comments they're leaving are like, yes, and we're going to beat you all with hammers later. During my discussions with Ditilium, I have noted our new friends do not seem to record their history. If anyone who knows more finds this, would they please explain how your people's history is tracked? Okay, never mind. They have they have translated their language at that point, and they are seemingly not secretly evil. Zakalis talking. I've been curious about something, if any of our new neighbors are able to answer. Where do you originate from? Do your people originate from the Bramble, or do you have a record from outside? In the Sia, I'm curious how you all managed to deal with the proximity of the anglerfish. I cannot imagine they are ideal neighbors. And Zakalis again. Amalax, one thing we have noticed, especially given recent events, is how your people seem to be a bit too accepting of circumstances. While this has been changing some, I was curious what brought about this attitude in the first place. Okay, I don't know what the recent events are, besides being like the arrival of the Nomai. I have heard that a method has been developed to repair gravity crystals, and that I should come here to find out more. Does it have something to do with the new bells lining the stage? Oh, that hurt my ears. Okay, well this one's broken, so I hope it's not relevant. Okay, so I suppose that at some point we'll have to bring the gravity crystal here when we have translated their language, if that is possible to do, which I think it will be. And then there'll be some order that we have to ring the bells in. Okay. Do I want to go to the center of this? I imagine this is the magma place. Magma's recursion, I believe. Be wary, friends. The space that lies beyond this node is filled with an extreme heat. If you must enter, be prepared to move quickly. The temperature is sufficient to cook you inside of your suit. We have erected a gravity lift to bring you down to the planet's surface. Find your way into it, and you will be brought into an area where the heat is somewhat dissipated. Simply keep watch for it. It is plainly visible as you approach. Now, is that a gravity lift that requires a repaired gravity crystal, I wonder? So they just mean to go into that beam? Okay. They're not kidding about the recursion. Okay. I'll recall my scout just to not get spammed with all the duplicate scout signals. Our new friends were not exaggerating. This area is quite hot. I will be quite relieved when we set up the portable life support. Well, this is 17 pages long. As Ola says I will as well. I fear we would not survive long in this heat otherwise. And Ocala says, I don't seem to be able to fire my port side thrusters, which is making maneuvering difficult. I seem to have lost vertical thrust. I believe the excessive heat may be interfering with our propulsion systems. I would advise we retreat for the moment. I actually seem to have lost all thrust. I may require assistance to return. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case for all of us. It seems that we are trapped here for the time being. If we are unable to find a way to propel ourselves soon, we aren't going to make it out. Is the heat affecting my vision, or is there movement coming from the entrance? It seems our friends have noticed our plight and have come to retrieve us. Okay, these guys just straight speak English now. So this is one of the aliens. Datilium says, hey, we noticed that you stopped moving. I thought you were going to go to the surface to set up life support. We were, but it appears our propulsion systems failed due to the heat. We told you it was a bad idea to come far in here. Weird signal or not. Come on, let's get you out of here. Thank you. Once you get us out of here, we should be entirely able to modify our propulsion systems to handle the heat, making our return trip much more successful. Ha! And here I thought you couldn't tell a joke without the science of it going over my head. By the Bramble, you're serious, aren't you? Okay. I'll say these guys have quite the grasp of the English language. Because yeah, I would have to, unless they're like speaking into a translator that then and then it's translating it again, and I don't even know. Oh, is this an exit? Yeah, I imagine this will push me back up, so I'm not going to do that quite yet. Sanetti is saying, I'm quite thankful our friends mounted that rescue operation. When my pack lost thrust, I was certain we were to be cooked. Azola is also very thankful, and they should consider the possibility of equipment failure under this heat, especially after we saw how it was used to cook anglerfish eggs. Okay, and there were those baby anglerfish in that other location. I don't know if somehow cooking them would help. Yeah, it was certainly a miscalculation on Nasia's part, and Ocalis can't help but wonder how they first started stealing those eggs. Actually, one of the language samples I analyzed during my translation is an old story that seeks to explain exactly that. As the story goes, they had found a massive anglerfish keeping watch over a clutch of eggs. The ancient aliens were starving as they had failed to find food for days, and began devising a plan to steal the eggs. They ultimately decided to distract the mother with a massive rock that was in the vicinity, hoping that slamming it into a nearby wall would lure the mother away for long enough to grab a few of the eggs and flee under pursuit. However, when the mother reached the rock, she did not turn around to pursue the thieves. Instead, she sank her teeth into the rock and stayed there, drifting along with it. This distracted the fish long enough for the aliens to take as many eggs as they wanted. Supposedly, the fish was still latched onto the rock as they left. What an interesting tale. Why do you suppose the mother behaved like that? Are the fish unable to distinguish between organic and inorganic prey? It's an interesting hypothesis. I would love to test it, if it were not for the fact our friends would likely not appreciate us feeding rocks to their fish. I wonder then if I could get those little anglerfish to like latch onto my scout or something. But then there's like 4 of them. I only have 1 scout. Unless they're going to add a mechanic where you can pick up rocks. Okay, Zola's asking if everyone's alright. Is this the second time they came down? Yeah. So Nasia has taken the liberty of deploying portable life support, so this crater should remain cool and oxygen rich. At least relatively speaking. Azola says, excellent. We should begin exploring once we have our bearings. Our top priority should be finding somewhere with shelter from this heat. Our equipment will not survive long enough to analyze the signal in this environment. I don't even know what signal we're here for. I believe it is possible to hear the signal without equipment, which would suggest reception will not be an issue. Oh, that... Is that just like the ominous echolocation tones? I don't know what... When did I even unlock that? Why did you guys make houses on this? Okay, yeah, they're hearing the eyes signal here. Since the heat of this planet does not seem to relent on the surface, it seems inadvisable to establish a permanent residence here. Therefore, I would suggest we simply construct a lab to study the eyes signal. Ocalis says that he believes he has found an additional item worth investigating. Some distance away, there is an opening in the side of a hill. This opening leads to a rock that seems to move when unobserved. I would certainly like to study this mysterious stone. I struggle to imagine what may cause this sort of behavior. And okay, there's a location for the lab on another island. There's a cave that goes down. It's an area filled with gas, but I believe the upper area may be cool enough for our equipment to function correctly with environmental regulation. I've begun construction of a road to lead to both locations. I assume this is the road. Over here, Amalex has given a gift to Akalis, so that's good. The two different species here are being friendly. What is the nature of this gift? It is a lovely necklace woven from several small vines which seem to have been made to grow around one another. I'm honestly unsure how he must have made it. Perhaps he used the druidic influences people seem to have? Whatever the case, it must have taken some time to create. How long have you guys been here? Yes, I suspected that might be the case. Okalis, I feel I should inform you that, based on my studies of these aliens' culture, a necklace such as that is a key component of the traditional courting ritual. Usually, the intended recipient will either refuse the necklace, indicating a lack of interest, or accept it and gift the initiator with a similar necklace. Are you certain? Courting ritual. That would imply, was Amalesk asking me to be his partner? How do I properly respond to that? Well, you either refuse or you accept. That's up to you. You should probably make a decision soon. Refuse or accept. If that is the case, then Sinetti, would you be willing to help me gain a better understanding of his language? I believe I have a message important enough that it must be written by hand. And Nessia is asking how Akalis responded to the gift. I stated I took it as a surefire token of the continued friendship between ourselves and our species. He extended an offer of partnership, and I, for all intents and purposes, called him a very good friend. Could be worse. And here, yeah, why is this area so hot? A fair question, one that had occurred to me as well. Currently, my standing hypothesis is that the seeds surrounding the planet lead recursively into this area based on how they seem to have the same glow. That geyser is so loud, man. I was trying to read. Okay, an astute observation. I fail to see how that explains the heat. If the planet is surrounded by recursive seeds, it is possible for heat that should leave the area to instead be redirected back inside, maintaining a very high temperature. Alright, we get some sort of space warping greenhouse effect going on. Alright, where am I trying to go right now? Yeah, these are all just recursive. Is this that one cave? I have to read this quickly as I'm actively being injured? Or, never mind, it paused. Warning, the chamber below is flooded with a very flammable gas. It is important that no open flames are brought into the cave, especially those that are particularly intense. Right, so say a jetpack? Should I... Are we sure it's a good idea to light this? The fact that this is an option sort of says to me that there's a time-based element to this. Okay, I'm gonna walk inside, and I'm not going to use my jetpack, and I am slowly burning to death. I'm beginning to have second thoughts. Warning, flammable gas detected. I believe this cave should prove to be an adequate location for any equipment we might use to study the signal of the eye. In particular, the upper chamber across the ceiling looks well insulated. With some environmental regulation, the overheating of our equipment should be a non-issue. Right, but how do I get there without using my jetpack? Azolis has a good find, Nasia, but how do you propose we get up there? The gas in this cave prohibits the use of our thrusters. My thoughts exactly. I believe gravity crystals constructed from the material of Graviton's Folly should be useful. We could make specialized mounts to place the crystals in, amplifying their effect to the level we would need. In my experience, the collection and application of that material will be time-consuming, and there may be other portions of the ceiling that are worth exploring. I propose these mounts should allow for the removal and replacement of these crystals. Then we may explore more while additional crystals are fabricated. And Azola says these are both great ideas, and they should start doing that right now. Right. Oh. Okay. I don't know what that was about. Why can't I remove that one? What am I exploring? Vitals low, no kidding. Why does it need to be like an unbroken path from the original one? I really do not understand. Okay, this must just be where I need to bring the one I repaired. Okay, let's see what happens when this all explodes. That's funny. Okay, so I definitely need the repaired gravity crystal to go through there. To get the repaired gravity crystal, I need to take it to the concert hall, and I need to find out how to translate their language in order to read their instructions on how to do that. I wonder if there's anything else in this node. You know, like it's quite big. There's a lot of room for there to be some interesting hidden stuff. Come on, I really overshot. I wonder where these different ones go to. You just like have anglerfish. You know what? I'll check out this spot up here. I don't think I've read this. These guys like their tree stumps. Fascinating. I wonder what the purpose of this area could be. It could be some manner of social area, but we have already observed a park and a concert hall. I wonder how many social areas these people have. You can have multiple social areas, man. I don't know what the deal is. Oh, hey, it's Amalex. Hey, Ocalis, was it? I just wanted to come say hi and introduce myself, since that's something that we can do now. My name's Amalex. Oh, hello. I must confess, I had somewhat forgotten that Zanetti had completed his translation. It's a pleasure to meet you properly. Were you wondering what this little podium is? It's actually where we come to tell stories and such. Most of our history is kept track of through oral tradition. So we have this place to tell all of the old stories from our ancestors. Interesting, although why not use the concert hall for that purpose? Also, if you'll excuse me, it's getting a bit stuffy in here, so I'm going to remove this while the oxygen of this planet allows me to do so. What are you doing? Well, yeah, he's taking his helmet off. It's stuffy in this suit, so I prefer not to wear it when it can be avoided. But you just pulled off your head. And you have a second, smaller, fuzzier head inside of it. Okay, these guys don't understand the concept of clothing. Oh, this isn't my head. It's a helmet. It protects my head from impacts, as well as allowing some degree of environmental regulation, such as providing me with oxygen. Did you believe that we all just have the appearance of our helmets and masks? Kinda, yeah. So I guess that's not your skin either? It's actually just something you have surrounding your real skin? Yes, we Nomai are actually covered in a layer of fur, but that is also underneath the suit. I hope my true appearance isn't too disconcerting to you. You appeared quite distressed a moment ago. Yeah, I thought that you had somehow pulled your head off. I take it this is the guy who gave him the necklace, the courting ritual. Your actual face isn't that bad. It kind of actually suits you. I like the softer feel about you. Sorry, was that a weird thing to say? Not at all, friend. I'm quite flattered, to be honest. I can't say I've had many people compliment my appearance before, especially people who cannot truly see. That's true, eh? What's this guy talking about? Anyway, I look forward to seeing you around, Amalex, especially now that we're able to communicate. We've only heard of 2 named aliens, so maybe these 2 will be important. It was like Amalex and something with a D. I don't remember. I wonder if is this the one that I already went through that had the big anglerfish? I mean, why not? Oh, I hit the wall. I totally killed like all my speed. I'm gonna accelerate so very lightly. Okay, is there drag in here? Why am I moving so slowly? I wonder, like, can they not hear at all if I'm thrusting this lightly? Come on. This is gonna take forever. Am I drifting to a stop? I'm drifting to a stop. You're kidding me. I feel like this can't be the intended way of getting through here, considering it's so slow. Maybe I was just supposed to build up more speed? Bro, why is this guy looking at me like that? Okay, that one's green. Why is it green? If I just, like, gun it. Now, do I shoot a scout through here first? Or will that attract the anglerfish? No, it didn't. And, well, it wasn't helpful at all. What the hell is that? Oh, I don't like that at all, man. Does this not go anywhere? Seemingly not. And there are no signals. I wonder if this one goes somewhere. Okay, we have alien text. Can't read that. Be really nice to be able to read things. Oh, that's from my ship through the roof. The toxin injector. Right, I remember that was from the seed that had the guy in it. I don't know if I want to inject toxins into the seed that had a guy in it. Azola says the Dree, I guess that's the name of the aliens, have found a hazardous node, and at their request we are to develop a delivery method for the toxin produced by the venomous reject. Is that what I'm standing on? I'm still hesitant to destroy this node. Its behavior sounds unique. We all are, but if the Dree believe it to be a significant threat, then I am inclined to be rid of it. Sinetti says this should not be difficult in and of itself, but who should deliver the toxin? We cannot ignore the possibility of the Bramble reacting in some violent manner. And then a Dree says something. Yeah, so with our current goal of destroying the dangerous node, I cannot help but wonder what will happen when the node dies. I would imagine it will be similar to when the node leading from Shattered Hearth to here perished, and it will simply relink to somewhere else. Perhaps, but this area already had an additional entrance in the nursery. What if the area the dangerous node leads to does not have any other entrances? Will the area itself die and be cut off? It's a fair point. I suppose we shall see. Perhaps the pocket dimension will collapse entirely, ejecting any objects inside. That would be interesting. No, that wouldn't be interesting. Now you're telling me that the fish guy who looked at me would get ejected out of that thing? I don't want that. I don't want to kill him. I don't want to interact with him. He scared me. He looked at me funny. I only hope that if that is the case, there isn't anything inside causing the apparent peril. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that guy killing me with his stare? Okay, so genetic testing has confirmed my previous suspicion. This node, unlike other nodes, is a distinctly different plant from the Bramble. The only thing that remains unclear is how this could have occurred. Could it simply be a random mutation? Perhaps even something with the strange propagation habits of the Bramble needs to maintain the possibility of evolution? Perhaps Karinia could shed light on its origin. She is head druid of the Dree, so she may be capable of communicating with this node as well. Okay, these guys can talk to the plants. I've tried to bring her here, but anytime she approaches this chamber, she recoils and refuses to go nearer. On her first attempt, I encouraged her to try and approach more, and after attempting to satisfy my request, she vomited, began spasming, and I was forced to drag her away. Okay, yeah, that's not good. Those fellows should not come in here. This node seems to be constantly on the verge of starvation, so I highly doubt we will need to contend with any propagations from it. Okay, I don't like the implication that Bramble nodes eat things. I cannot help but feel unnerved by this place. Even given the nature of the Bramble, I cannot help but feel this place is unnatural. Yeah, and Sinetti also feels off about this place. No kidding, is it the ominous green glow, perhaps? See, I kind of don't want to use this before I can translate the alien writing. Yeah, there's the quantum cave that I didn't check out. The nursery, that's what they're calling this, okay. Strange wooden corridor, made impassable by several fish. And yeah, the fog makes it impossible to drift through. I wonder if my sequence broke by going through there and they didn't consider like using controllers. Because that just means it's impossible to get through there with a mouse and keyboard. So then I don't actually know if that would then be the intended progression. I spoke to the mod developer later and they confirmed that this is considered an exploit and is not the intended path. The translation lab is near Shattered Hearth, above the park with the big tree. It's too small to fit the ship into. Okay, this is where the baby anglerfish are. Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, if I can distract them with my... Oh, so I'm not getting out of here, eh? Presumably I go through here and I'm back into the nursery, right? Yes. I don't understand the purpose of making it impossible to drift through here. All that achieves is making this impossible to complete on mouse and keyboard, right? And that's not a puzzle. Oh, he heard me. Well. Okay, so there's a small node above a big tree. That looks like a big tree. And that looks like a small node. Alright, so we fly up here to the small node. Okay, there are like rocks. Nope, that's not a rock. That's a piece of the big fish. Yeah, so none of that. Do I need to like hit one? Okay, that literally hit him. Yeah, so I don't get it. And he saw me. Okay, so the scout's not it. The scout isn't what that's hinting at. So yeah, I suppose I just need more information for that. The translation lab is a dead end for now, which sucks because I feel like that's the main sort of gate, right? Or the main gatekeeper of knowledge and progression for me. Gravity signal. A signal in Briar's Hollow that was gravitational in nature. In Briar's Hollow. That's where I am. A gravitational signal. Geothermal activity. There was another one. Amplified ambience. Okay. What? How did I miss this? Oh, is this... Yeah, they were talking about being able to make gravity crystals and gravitational anomaly. That's a lot of switches. Hey, why not switch all of them? Sanetti says, I have not yet had the chance to visit the gravity core at the center of the crystal. Would someone be willing to remind me what sequence of levers needs to be turned on to reach the center? And of course, I cannot translate that. While Sanetti and Okalis are constructing the lab to study the alien's language, I propose that we construct another lab here to investigate the crystal that floats above our heads. Azola says, I can help you with this, Nasia. I am quite excited to see what secrets the crystal holds. Suppose it has something to do with the gravity of this planet. The material we have sampled from Graviton's Folly exhibits only light gravitational properties. It may be possible the crystal strengthens them somehow. I imagine this knowledge would be quite useful to future attempts to use this material. I know Sanetti is having to refine large quantities to create the attractive force desired. Yeah, the main entrance to Venomous Reject has been killed off by the toxin in that area. And this is stranded deuterium. Right, and that's why I had to go through the nursery. You should be able to simply drift through, right? Wrong. The nutrient-rich fog of the nursery is quite thick, swiftly halting any movement that isn't supported by a constant force. Well, that's good. Just tell him that to press very lightly on the joystick, and then it actually works. I've spoken to his people about possible rescue methods, but they seem convinced all attempts would either fail or result in many deaths. When I spoke to them, they were already preparing for a period of mourning. Pains me to think how the inability to rescue their friend must be hurting them. I struggle to understand how they could have given up hope so quickly. Well, friends. If our friends do not believe it possible to save Didylum, to save Didylum, then it is up to us to do so. We cannot simply allow him to perish without attempting rescue, especially after how his people pulled us from the heat of magma's recursion. I agree. Ditylum. I keep putting an eum in there. There's no eum. There's no I. Didylum came for us in our time of need. We must be willing to do the same for him. So they're going to do that. Since our studies in this lab have already concluded, we can use the extra space to discuss various rescue methods. Okay, so I suppose this is how I was supposed to learn how to get through the nursery, and then I just sort of did it. Never mind, we're back to talking about the crystals. There's a small, delicate core that emits a strange energy. What is it? They don't know. It's similar to that which comes from the internal structure of the planet. Suppose that that's what allows the strong gravitational anomaly to exist? That's the current hypothesis, but they will not be able to test this because they would have to damage the delicate crystalline structure of the core, and I guess yeah, they would learn if their hypothesis is correct or not, but they would destroy the gravity of the planet, destabilize the gravity of the planet. Sure. Now they're going back to talking about Didylum again. Why doesn't he just swim back? Would that really wake up the fish? Yes, they will hear his echolocation. Could he just cross anyway? He would be doing it blind. He would probably echolocate by accident, out of fear. They would eat him. And I mean, he would just be swimming in a straight line, trying to stay as straight as possible, blind, bump into something, make a noise, get eaten. Is this a staircase? No. How am I supposed to read all that? Smaller size of the juvenile fish renders them slower than the adults. What if he went really fast? I tried that, it didn't work. How are you supposed to read that? Why is there... Am I missing something here? What? Should I be able to, like, turn off gravity or something? What if I do just destabilize the core and all that? Gravitational disturbance detected at core. Gravitational level stable. Uh-huh. What if it was unstable? I assume that since I just flicked every single lever that I have done this incorrect. Oh my goodness, there are upside down buildings over there. Okay. Oh. Oh, and that just kills you. Well. Okay, so I can't read the things on the wall because the gravity's too strong or something. There were more pillars that I could go visit. Okay, well, so what are we talking about in here? Nessia asks, what do you all suppose the Eye of the Universe is meant to accomplish? Why did it call out to our clan? Azola says, suppose the eye has no purpose at all. It may simply be a natural phenomenon that happens to emit a signal. Nessia says perhaps, but the sudden arrival of the signal is rather odd, and Felix seems to think the signal was significant. Additionally, I struggle to imagine how a purposeless, natural phenomenon would be older than the universe. I don't see why that would mean anything. Although, yeah, the sudden arrival, that is of course the purview of the DLC. Suppose the eye is a construct left by some highly advanced species. It would explain the sudden arrival of the signal, as it may have some conditions that must be met before it will begin its call. Okalis says hypothesis, it may be a craft used to travel between universes. If a species used it to come here from an older universe, that might explain its apparent age. Sinetti, the signal near magma's recursion unfortunately sheds little light on this. Suppose the eye does not wish to inform us of its purpose? How unsettling! I vote we explore other possibilities first, as the idea that the eye may purposefully be withholding information is frightening. Yeah, assigning it a sort of sentience and then assigning it malice is quite interesting. Okay, so Azola is writing what they currently know about the Eye of the Universe. So some time ago, their clan detected a signal older than the universe itself. Eskel immediately had our clan warp to the approximate location of the eye, but something went wrong. Rather than arriving at the eye, we arrived in the Bramble, which quickly ensnared and compromised our vessel. While escape pods 1, 2, and 3 were able to launch, our pods were compromised, stranding us. We attempted to construct a makeshift warp device, but it only served to send us deeper into the Bramble, where we have been trapped ever since. While we are continuing our search for a means of escape, this set of circumstances has rendered us currently unable to reunite with our clan and continue the search for the eye. Unfortunately, we have become unable to detect the signal previously encountered, likely due to our compromising position. How do you suppose the signal from the eye could be older than the universe? Nessia says, perhaps it is by some mechanism entirely outside of our understanding. Azola says, grim as it may be, it is possible that some equipment malfunction made it appear older than it truly was. And Okalis says, perhaps the eye originates from somewhere outside of our universe. Okay. With our friend's language translated, yeah, I really wish, we can begin assembling a better understanding of their physiology. I have erected this text wall to serve as a location for recording our findings. So yeah, these guys went to an alien concert recently. We posited that they may have different vocal organs than us, allowing them to produce the otherworldly sounds we observed. From what I've gathered, they have inhabited the Deep Bramble in all of their stories, so it is very likely that they developed enhanced vocal organs as an adaptation to the environment. Yeah, they also navigate entirely through echolocation. These aliens possess many adaptations that make them well suited towards the environment of the Deep Bramble. Especially impressive, their hearing even allows them to read by detecting the differences in sound reflecting off different textures. This seems to be why they write with such a thick, soft substance, and how they can read the chalky lines written by ourselves. Etc. I hadn't thought about that at all, that they are somehow able to read. It seems that this hearing is even sensitive enough to detect certain biological signals. Emelec seems to use my pulse to determine when I am tense or nervous. It should be noted that certain traits suggest they may originate from somewhere with more light, such as their shallow, likely vestigial eye sockets. Suppose they were not originally from the Deep Bramble. While Nessia heads the study of our new friend's physiology, I would like to take the opportunity to share aspects of their culture that I learned during my translation of their language. Let's see. They are stagnant. They seem uninterested in exploring beyond their immediate vicinity and appear to have entirely accepted their current situation. Ocalis agrees, and this can be destructive, as they were unwilling to take the necessary risks to retrieve Didalum when he became stranded at the Venomous Reject. I take this to mean that they did indeed rescue this one guy, so that's nice. Fortunately, that event seems to have changed their outlook considerably, as well as inspiring them to put more trust in us than they previously did. Resuming our studies, they seem to gain most of their nutrition from anglerfish eggs, domesticating and breeding the fish to do so. Yeah, I wonder how they started doing that. We read a thing on another wall about how they were able to get the eggs from the anglerfish by luring the mother to bite into a big rock. Yeah, even now they continue to keep lights on their homes to ward off any wandering fish. Yeah, it's an old story. You wrote it in Magma's Recursion. I already read that. Rather than engaging in scientific pursuits, they seem to exercise certain influences over the bramble. This includes influencing the growth of the vines, as demonstrated by those holding together Shattered Hearth, and even some level of communication with the plant. Hypothesis. If they're able to communicate with the vines, they may be able to inform us what became of the launched escape pods. They can tell you how they all died. Oh, this is sad. This is like a little graveyard. Escal, leader of our clan, we remember your bravery and daring, and how you led our people to many great discoveries. We carry your memory with us. Seka, beloved of Nasia, we remember your companionship and mirth. We carry your memory with us. I assume, yeah, Nasia is being sad about that. I do not know how to go on without you by my side. All those who we did not know personally, we carry your memory with us. I wonder, like, did Seka live, you know? I wonder how many of these guys actually died. Well, obviously they all died. But yeah, some of them presumably got to the other planets. I wonder if Seka was one of them. The third pod, protector of its charges, we know you did everything you could to save them, and we thank you for your efforts. We carry your memory with us. Oh, never mind. Is this after they learned from talking to the vines who lived and who died? Din, protector of all, we carry your memory with us. Do you suppose our friends on the first and second pods survived? Carinia was unable to ascertain what became of the rest of our clan, which indicates they at least escaped the bramble. Do you suppose they may be able to locate us? Our makeshift warp setup should still be intact. Perhaps they will find us. Zanetti, anyone who may have survived the crash has certainly made the reasonable assumption that we all perished as well. As such, they will certainly be unwilling to return to the bramble. We are on our own. Azola says, don't lose hope, friend. They are our clan. We cannot so completely assume they would abandon us entirely. I got bad news for you. Unless there are further retcons. But it seems that they did. Okay, stop it, Azola. We've been in the deep bramble for months now. At this point, the rest of our clan has certainly concluded that, if we had survived, we would have found a way out of the bramble. Nobody is coming for us, and the idea that we can locate an exit the others have neglected for thousands of years is completely nonsensical. The others being the Dree, I take it. I was thinking, like, I wonder if there's some wacky, like, time dilation stuff going on in here. I could see them doing that. At least in that, like, why was there a living Dree alien? Presumably, that's what that guy was. So yeah, why is that guy still there? Yeah, I mean, Nasia is a bit sad. Their significant others confirmed dead. Azola. Escal, I'm sorry, but I feel my leadership fails to reach the standard of your memory. Regardless of what I attempt, I am unable to maintain morale among our small crew, and this depressive miasma seems to be claiming me as well. I am trying to utilize the leadership skills you gifted me, but they are proving ineffective. I am clueless as to how to locate an escape that the native people have been unable to find for thousands of years. Okay, they were decidedly talking about the Dree. I am clueless as to how to motivate them in the face of such insurmountable odds. Friends, I have spectacular news. Okay. Amalex has informed me there is a mysterious signal reverberating throughout the area surrounding Magma's recursion, which arrived shortly before we did. I am certain it must be the signal from the Eye. With how our luck has been lately, Ocalis, I have some trouble believing that. Azola. Ocalis, consider what you are saying for a moment. It seems highly implausible that the Eye signal penetrated into the deep bramble and then became trapped in a particular area. How would that even occur? I know that it seems implausible, but so does a signal older than the universe. It is what our clan risked everything to find in the first place. We would be disrespecting their sacrifice if we sit idle while a mysterious signal is well within our grasp. We have been entirely idle for entirely too long. We need this. Nessia says, you're correct, Ocalis. As wounded as we may be, stagnating here will do us no good. Our friends would not have wanted us to stay here forever, refusing to move on. Fair points, both of you. All right, we will investigate this mysterious signal, but only if we unanimously agree to do so. Understood? Ocala says understood. Zanetti says it will certainly be a risk, but I agree we should at least perform a cursory investigation. Right, so I take it the magma's recursion is the one where I guess like it's the heat keeps coming back through the nodes and never leaves. The heat gets trapped in there. I take it that it's also the signal has gotten trapped in there where it continuously reverberates through the seeds back into the dimension and through the seeds and so on. Okay, this is presumably what I was meant to read first. And this is that, yeah, they learned that everyone on the third escape pod died. Are you certain? I don't understand how we could have learned this. And it's because Karinya, who was able to commune with the Bramble, learned that the third pod became ensnared in the vines, causing its passengers to suffocate. I understand tensions are elevated in light of these events. I would suggest we take a moment to mourn, after which we will construct a memorial in their memory. Yeah. Anglerfish observation platform. I haven't been there yet, so I could try that. So what are our big things? Our big things are the translation lab, the dangerous node that has the alien in it, and the distant node project, which I don't know where this distant node is. Maybe through the quantum cave I'm able to travel there. And yeah, so I think completing this is what's going to allow me to get to other things, but unfortunately I don't know how to do that at all. So I'm going to go to the anglerfish observation platform. Maybe there will be a big rock that I can throw at the fish, or maybe I will simply die. And they were saying, okay, that's what these vines sticking out are. They've used their druidic powers to have the bramble grow vines through the planet to hold it together. What the heck is this? What is that? Why are you blue? What? Oh. That's seemingly two people kissing, and there's some cats. I assume that's an Easter egg. So that's cute. I guess this time I can just drift. Maybe I'm gonna drift perfectly onto that landing pad. It would be nice. I hate fish. I really hate fish. I don't like fish. In the game, not in real life. In real life, I love fish. I'm gonna miss. I needed like the slightest bit of adjustment. Yeesh. Okay. Oh. That's nice. That's reassuring. I mean, I'll give credit. That's an effective visual. What is this? Is this a tentacle? Why do you suppose the Dree chose to go through the trouble of taming these fish? I can't imagine that their domestication was something easily achieved. From what we've observed, the eggs of these fairy fish are the main source that the Dree have for nutrition. Perhaps this is what led them to tame the creatures. Perhaps, but I suspect that it had more to do with their proximity. The Dree do not seem to appreciate looming threats and generally take measures to either move away or neutralize them. Do you suppose that this may also be why they refuse to spread? They are very localized and their population is quite low given how long they've been here. It very well could be. They seem much more content to leave things as they are rather than take risks in the name of more comfortable living conditions. Okay. Ocala says, friends, Amalex has informed me of an unfortunate event. The anglerfish guarding the juveniles in the nursery lost one of his centermost bottom teeth in an accident. Are you referring to Kevin? That is unfortunate. I hope it does not leave any permanent effects. It seems as if he should make a full recovery, except for the permanent mark left by the missing tooth. Did he mention what the nature of this accident was? Not in detail. From what I understood, it seems as if two of the juvenile fish got into an altercation and Kevin hit the wall in the process of separating them. It seems that none of the Dree were present for the altercation, so that is simply their best guess. It is fortunate that the Dree have him there, then. I imagine one of the juvenile fish could have been seriously injured had Kevin not intervened. That's a tooth? Your teeth are looking... Yeah, I guess the teeth look pretty purple at the ends. Can I stage an altercation between the fish to let me get through? At first I was quite confused how these fish could survive with the stark absence of viable prey, but after observing them I believe I understand. They live very sedentary lives, only moving to ambush potential prey. This allows them to expend very little energy. In fact, I believe that only ones as large as the mother near the translation lab require larger prey. There's a mother near the translation lab? Oh, is that the dead one? Smaller ones can simply subside on the smaller creatures that float throughout the bramble, digesting anything foolish enough to enter their mouths. This may even explain how that anglerfish grew to that size. Perhaps they grow proportionally to their nutritional intake. Thus, the extra food the Dree give her has caused her to grow to such an exceedingly massive size. I don't like that. I don't like them raising a super huge anglerfish. Makes me uncomfortable. You have stuff in your mouth? What the heck is in your mouth? I hate this so much, man. Do you have stuff in your mouth? You do not have stuff in your mouth. You don't have stuff in your mouth. Why do you have stuff in your mouth? I don't want to go in your mouth. Go in the mouth of the other one is dead. I don't want to go in your mouth. Don't tell me I gotta go in his mouth. Why is there a building in your mouth? Dude, I don't like that, man. I don't like that one bit. Oh, that what? I mean, yeah, I walked right into that one. That's like insane anglerfish strats. You put a Nomai ruin in your mouth so that wandering explorers just walk right in and get eaten. What can I do? There's still that spot in here, the quantum cave. I could try that. I like this bramble node. You can really... It's really bright. You can really see what's going on. Okay, yeah, and that's a classic. What's the scroll say? I'm surprised there's a scroll. How do you suppose this rock achieves its behavior? It appears to move exclusively when it's unobserved. Perhaps it's some form of macroscopic quantum behavior. It may exist in all locations at the same time, but collapses to a single possibility once observed by a conscious being. If this is the case, it may hint at the nature of the eye as well. This rock seems to emanate a signal similar to the one reverberating through this area. An interesting idea. This may indeed be the case. I can think of no other explanation for how it may relocate itself so dramatically. While this is an interesting find, it is a shame that it does not seem to be useful to our current goals. I had hoped that this would help us locate the eye of the universe. That's funny, how this rock is important. Actually, I believe that I may have accidentally found an additional behavior of this rock. When text obscured by object, it seems that text obscured by object. Even more interesting, but I still fail to understand how this would aid us in reaching the eye. I'm still putting it together. In particular, I want to bring Karinia to observe this phenomenon, but I believe that this may be useful to a proposal of mine that I'm calling the Distant Node Project. I encourage you all to join me here sometime when I have more of the details worked out. I will be able to explain the idea in full then. So that's why this is a scroll. I need to find another wall to read it in, and there was a wall inside that one anglerfish's mouth, but that didn't work. Can this take me somewhere? No. Presumably there's some other location that it can go to, but only when some other condition is met. Okay. This was another bit of exploration that raised more questions than it answered, unfortunately. Translation lab. There's baby anglerfish. They can't distinguish between organic and inorganic prey. But they can distinguish between me and my scout. Thus leaving me with nothing. I wonder, do any of these, like... Or are these their houses? Well, I can't read that. But yeah, so the Dree live in these little pods on the walls. That's neat. Like, I don't know, do you guys not have... Is there not, like, a big rock nearby? Like, yeah, I don't know, do you guys not... There's nothing in here, really? Can I, like, bait them into latching on to the dead skull itself? Here, come latch onto the wall. You know what? I'm just gonna leave. Okay, maybe that made some of them move away from the entrance. And maybe when I come back in, they'll have forgotten I was ever here. Oh, they're not blocking the door anymore. Okay, I've thrust it towards the door. They have slightly moved. I'm going too high. Oh, that was not how you were supposed to do it. Why am I under attack? How did he get me? How did you get inside? He got me through the floor. Well, hey, it worked. It's decidedly not how you're supposed to do it, but it kind of worked. We repeat the strategy that is almost certainly not intended, just because I really want to see if it could actually work. Come on. There we go. And then I leave. It kind of looked like it did actually go for the scout. Okay, so I stop moving entirely. I take out the signal scope. I am perfectly aligned with the door. I might have gone a bit too fast. Oh, how did you hear that? Okay, they can hear me touch the ground, so I'm screwed no matter what. So my method does not work under any circumstances. I accept that. I take that. Why are you orange? You put a Nomai wall in your room? Oh hey, knowledge. Amalex, can I converse with you for a moment? There have been recent developments that have been troubling me. Sure, I guess. What do you want to talk about? The other Nomai and I have recently learned that a large portion of our clan perished in the Bramble, one of them being Nessia's partner. Naturally, everyone has found themselves demoralized, and I am unsure what I can do to remedy the situation. Oh, Bramble, I'm so sorry. Nessia believes that we will never be able to escape the deep Bramble, and this outlook has spread through everyone else like a miasma. ... I mean, would that be such a bad thing? Excuse me. Hold on, hear me out. Ever since you guys showed up, you've made comments on two main things. One, that you Nomai are intensely curious, and two, that the Deep Bramble is probably the weirdest place that your people have ever found. However, you also keep saying a third thing, which seems to contradict those two, and that's that you desperately want to leave. I know that you all want to see the rest of your people again, but if that's not possible right now, why not make the best of the situation? That's actually a very solid argument. At this point, it has become clear that escape is not easily achievable. Perhaps investigating the phenomena surrounding us would be the most efficient use of our time. That's the spirit. I mean, there are so many things you guys could try and figure out, like how the space inside of the nodes works, how things end up in the Deep Bramble in the first place, and that signal that came through a while back and ended up stuck in the area around magma's recursion. Oh wait, a signal? Amalex, when did this signal first appear? Okay, this is them discovering that the eye signal showed up. Pretty shortly before you guys showed up, actually. Some of us thought that you guys caused it, and it's the eye. Kalis is very excited that it's the eye. Must notify the others immediately. Wait, Kalis, don't run off so fast. That whole area is super dangerous. Oh, Bramble, I hope the other Nomai are more careful than he is, or they're all going to get themselves killed. And then that explains why they were so quick to try to go in there, and then the Dree had to go save them, and it was a whole thing. Are there other people's houses that are going to be of note? Perhaps denoted by a colored light? There was another one that had a name on it, but it didn't look like it had anything in it. Like, I mean, just to check. Yeah, like there's nothing in here. There is oxygen though. I feel like I have to be missing like an entire location or something. You know, I feel like there are too many dead ends currently that I'm otherwise not able to explain. Okay, so it seems like all the named NPCs have something in their house. Nessia. Hello, my name is Nessia. No way. It's my understanding that you are the head druid of your people, is that correct? Yes. I was hoping you may be able to give some insight on the circumstances surrounding the rest of our clan. Is that within your capabilities? Okay, this is when she finds out that everyone died. I can commune with the Bramble enough to figure out their fates within its walls. I believe that will be sufficient. 3 pods were launched from the vessel. Can you ascertain what happened to them? Let me see. Okay, they're saying that objects escaped. They actually seem a little confused. That doesn't happen often. Wait, oh no. I'm so sorry, but it seems like one of the pods didn't make it. I'm hearing talk of a captured object. Can you determine which one it was? Hannes is asking if Sekka is unharmed. Sekka is totally dead. I'm so sorry, but I'm hearing echoes of that name. The Bramble only ever learns a name when it claims the person it belongs to. Jeez, that's dark, bro. Yeah, they asphyxiated. There's no mistaking it. I'm sorry. The vines are very clear. Was she someone that you knew? She was my love. Yeah, that's sad. Okay, so that happened, and then they all went and decided to redouble their efforts. It's funny, I'm thinking about that earlier dialogue about Amalax and the other character, Okalis, falling in love maybe, and I'm realizing I've been too poisoned by puzzles, where I was like, yes, but what is the purpose of this dialogue in furthering the puzzles? And yeah, maybe this is just a non-linear story that I'm meant to like actually enjoy, as opposed to a framework by which clues can be left. I imagine this might be the guy whose name starts with a D. No, maybe I'm back at this one. Okay, it was orange. I've been to orange. I've been to green. I searched a bunch for Diddylim's house, but never found it. So I don't know if there even was one for him. I completely missed that there's like a quarry over here. Okay, hopefully this is helpful. How's construction of your translation lab going? Progress is slow but steady. I must confess the small size of the entrance is making it quite difficult to transport the necessary material. Have you not been using the larger entrance? There's a larger entrance? Yes, there's a much larger entrance. It would make transporting your material much easier, especially since it is relatively close to Graviton's Folly. I will be sure to start using that entrance then, thank you. I'll make one more trip along the usual path and leave a short-lived beacon at the construction site to make it easier to find the larger entrance you speak of. I imagine that the locals will also be much happier without us hauling all of our material through their home. Okay, so we go down into this here quarry, and there's nothing down here. So we leave the quarry. So they said they put a beacon? Well, they said they put a short-lived beacon. It's been a billion years, so I don't know if that beacon is still active. Quarry. I found some sort of quarry. Yes, I did. I read that the translation lab has a larger entrance somewhere in Briar's Hollow. A Nomai who needed to find it left a temporary beacon at the lab, which then guided them to the larger entrance. Okay. It's one of these puzzles. So what was all this about them trying to eat inanimate objects? Okay, so we go here. We land a scout in there. And it's the classic Bramble puzzle of leaving a thing in a place and then finding it. How did that help me at all? Or I guess it's just that now I have my ship. You gonna latch onto my ship? What that is, an inorganic object? Okay. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. Okay, cool. Goodness, Okalis was not lying when he remarked on the terrible beast in this area. That anglerfish is massive. Fortunately, it seems the creature is thoroughly domesticated, so it should be no real threat. From what I can gather, this fish is the mother of all the others domesticated by the Dree. From the size of it, it must consume a massive quantity of food just to sustain itself. Even with its sedentary lifestyle, I suspect it would starve if the Dree did not feed it. I take that to mean that the Dree are no longer active in these parts, which they certainly seems to be the case. I must admit this discovery is rather embarrassing. Apparently, I had previously mistaken the Dree adjective modifiers for hostile and neutral. Interesting, what led to that error? In our discussion, Diddylim kept using a particular adjective when referring to the group of 3 anglerfish and one of the nodes near Shattered Hearth. I had previously assumed this to be an adjective roughly translating to aggressive, but it apparently means neutral or tame. Would this imply that those anglerfish actually are not hostile? I believe it does. Do still exercise caution. It is possible I still do not wholly understand the translation. 3 anglerfish in one of the nodes near Shattered Hearth. Oh, with the dome in the middle. So those guys are just neutral. But then the thing in its mouth, it still ate me. Okay, whatever. Don't fret, Zanetti. It happens to the best of us. Exciting news, friends. I made significant progress towards deciphering the language of our new neighbors. Like what? Oh, mostly common words such as and the. Notably, however, I've also deciphered certain names. Specifically, the species refer to themselves as the Dree, and the Dree I have been working with is known as Didylum. Good work. At this rate, we'll be able to actually talk to them. Is this the same one that we first met? That is correct. It seems he's quite eager to help facilitate communications between our two species. I'm still far off from finishing the translation. You better give me something that I can download directly to my translator. Update. I have translated the Dree name for the area we find ourselves in. Apparently, the Dree refer to everywhere enclosed by this plant as the Deep Bramble. Keep up the good work, Zanetti. We all appreciate your efforts. Do you suppose the existence of a deep bramble implies the existence of a shallow bramble? Perhaps the shallow bramble is where the vessel was stranded. Ocalis, Zanetti, meet Nessie and I at Graviton's Folly as soon as you can. Why? We have news, but it is news best delivered in person. Oh yeah, this is that everyone died. Understood, making my way over. I guess that would just lead me back over there if I hadn't already been there. Zanetti, have you had any luck asking the Dree how to leave the Deep Bramble? I've asked many people, but they seem certain that escape is impossible. I'm sorry to report my investigations have not uncovered an escape. I have scoured Briar's Hollow, but have been thoroughly unable to find any new passageways. Yeah, that is troubling news. They're not going to be able to reunite with the clan or find the Eye of the Universe. However, Azola says they refuse to believe that we are entirely ensnared by the bramble. Nessia says maybe they just haven't found a suitable exit yet. Although Zanetti says I find that very unlikely. The Dree have been here for thousands of years. The idea they would overlook an exit for that long is improbable. Well, I don't know. They seem pretty content to just do their own thing. Maybe they would overlook, or rather not overlook, but just not find something like that. Anyway, yay. Zanetti has completed the translation of the Dree language. Good job. Wonderful news. We can talk to them. Hooray. I will write the translation dictionary here. If I format it correctly, it should enable our staves, that's like the plural of staff, to automatically translate Dree writing, which should prove useful as we learn to fully understand the language. Dictionary recognized, updating Nomai translator. That's very cool. I actually had like literally the same idea for a story mod that I never ended up making. Obviously, it's a pretty basic idea, just to have at some halfway point through the mod that you learn an alien language and then you can go and translate stuff. Yeah, so this is much better than my mod is, as my mod does not exist. As I'm working on these translations, I cannot help but become more and more fascinated by the Dree's culture. I love just the anglerfish growling in the distance. I've been wondering how our cultures might differ, but have been obviously unable to ask. Well, they value scientific knowledge a lot less than the Nomai. They like their druidism. They like to talk to the plant. They like divines. They have some level of influence over it, yep. They compel divines to grow into structures. Even the planet they call home is only held together because the Dree willed divines to do so. Nessia looks forward to asking how the heck they do that. And they call this place the Deep Bramble. Oh, never mind, there's a small distinction to be made. The Deep Bramble is the area we are in, while the plant itself is just the bramble. And now Zanetti is thanking Didylum for the aid. Thank you. What are we testing? This recorder, I've modified it in such a way that it should be able to transcribe your spoken language in Nomai. Alright, so we just need to talk about something for a bit? Precisely. Let's think of a subject. What was that stone tablet that Ocalis returned to you? It's pretty embarrassing, but it's a poem that I made for my partner, Leolama. Turns out that she wanted to keep it, but I had accidentally left it at that camp and had to go back for it. It's very sweet. I'm sure you were quite flattered. She valued it so highly. Yeah, I'm not the best writer. So it really meant a lot to me that she wanted to keep it. Was that all, or do we need to keep talking for a bit? That should be enough. I'll need to review the transcription. Would you allow me to borrow your poem? This is a type of text I have not yet encountered in your language, so it may aid in ensuring the accuracy of my translation, to which Didylum says, absolutely not. Okay. Why is this in the big fish's mouth? Did it just die and eat it? I don't know how much my ship is gonna keep working. Is my ship super broken? No, it's not that broken. Okay, I can actually read stuff now. That's gonna open up a great many things. Fortunately, it is the end of the loop. Yeah, well, that's what I have to say about that. Okay, finally, we did the thing. Did you have text on it? No, there was like the bigger planet, and it had grass and stuff. This one, I really don't know which one's the error and which one's real. Okay. Okay, we finally get to read some alien language. Where's the part with the alien in it? Show me the part with the alien. I think it was like the second last one, I want to say. Nope. The last one. Yes. I don't understand your strange language, but I hope that you may know mine. Follow where I lead and find us. It may be only a feeling, but I think that our species are fated to meet. Okay, cool. I can read alien now. Okay, there's also the one place with the tree house. Oh yeah, was that? Yeah, it was just that little shack. In my head, I was like, no, there was a bigger house, but no, it is just this little shack. I think this is where there was more alien writing, right? I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I should just take this. There was a hole in the bottom the whole time, you kidding me? I'm so stupid. That's so dumb. How did I not know? Is this the place you wanted to show me, Amalax? Yeah. It's a little place Diddlem and I set up when we were kids. It was our secret hideout, whenever things got scary, like when the adults would feed the anglerfish. It feels meaningful that you would bring me here, so close to where our species first made contact. I guess so, huh? I'm really grateful you gave me this necklace. I truly am incapable of expressing how much it means to me. I'm glad that you're glad. Ever since I first met you, I thought that you were really, well, just great all around, I guess. I know the necklace you made me isn't super traditional, but you know what? I love it. I think it symbolizes us really well. Amalex, you're too kind. You know, ever since we became adults, Diddlem kind of stopped coming out here, and well, this is somewhere that I've shared with you now, so maybe we could make it our secret hideout. If that sounds okay with you. Sorry, I know that's kind of childish, especially for a big scientist like yourself. Oh, I don't think it would be childish at all, Amalex. And I'd be thrilled to do so. Was there something you had in mind? Well, I was thinking that we could write our names on the wall. What's a secret hideout without a mark to let any trespassers know who it belongs to? I think that's a wonderful idea, Amalex. Amalex Ocalis. That's cute that they did it in each other's languages. This was also entirely pointless. It wasn't pointless. It fleshed out the characters. This isn't just a puzzle solving experience. It's a non-linear storyline. Okay, now we go to the concert hall. I do believe that they wrote some stuff here. Here's Diddlem. Since you all decided, willingly or not, to stay here, we figured that it only made sense for you to participate in some of our traditions. It is much appreciated, friend. While I'm generally accustomed to studying from afar, it will be much more pleasant to fully engage with you and the other Dree. Okay, so they were fully able to understand their language at this point. So what's this say? During my discussions with Diddlem, I have noted our new friends do not seem to record their history. Right, and we've already seen that they have an oral tradition. So this is Leoloma, who's Diddlem's partner. Says, we don't write stuff down very often. We are always sharing our stories with each other and making sure that they get passed down to the next generation. And Diddlem adds, if you don't mind me asking, why do you Nomai write things down so often? I mean, you even write out or record pretty normal conversations. It's a byproduct of our nomadic lifestyle. Traditionally, Nomai clans are constantly moving from place to place, so writing out and recording our conversations became our way of sharing knowledge with others. If at some point another clan were to stumble upon somewhere we had been, they would find our writing and have a head start on understanding their surroundings. I do question how you ensure your stories aren't lost to time, however. Well, we don't really move around terribly much, and there aren't that many of us either. That makes it so everyone knows everyone, which makes our oral tradition much easier to practice. Okay, where are these guys from? I think it's said before, but all their stories are sort of from here. But never mind. There are some stories of a time before the Bramble, but we're not sure if they're true or not. Some stories even claim that Shattered Hearth is actually the planet we used to live on outside until the Bramble tore it apart and swallowed it. And how do you deal with the anglerfish? Oh, it's pretty easy to live with them, especially since they're all tamed now. Except for the babies, of course. Even so, I'm unclear on how you live in such close proximity to those creatures. The image of their shapes lurking in the fog, hinted at only by their stark white lights, gives me chills. If you read that again, that might tell you why that's not a problem for us tree. Yeah, I guess they wouldn't see the lights. How does the taming process work, and why is it ineffective on the juveniles? Basically, we just feed them a bunch. The anglerfish are simple creatures. They want to get food, and they want to move as little as possible to do it. That means if you consistently bring them food, they'll understand that the best way to get easy food is by not killing you. Yeah, that makes sense. I imagine any movement expends a sizable amount of energy. The babies, on the other hand, don't care as much about staying still as they care about getting a lot of food. This means they'll still attack whoever gets close, so we have to wait until they're a good deal larger before they can be tamed. So this is Okalis asking Amalex about how they're a bit too accepting of circumstances. It's an artifact from when things weren't so peaceful, before we had tamed the anglerfish and things like that. As I'm sure you're all aware, the Bramble is not exactly safe, and there was a time where death was pretty commonplace. During that time, we learned that taking tragedy in stride would be more or less necessary for our survival. I see. I fear we Nomai may suffer from the opposite problem as you, Dree. I'm sure you've noticed our species' eagerness to explore. We Nomai are no strangers to these rash decisions claiming lives, and sometimes need to purposefully slow ourselves down to avoid it. That makes sense. Yeah, because of course, when they found the eye, that's what got everyone killed. Escal was too quick on the draw. That danger also led to our attitude towards expansion. We found a corner of the Bramble that was decently safe, so we just stayed there. It's cramped and not terribly comfortable, but at least we're not having people go missing every other day. Although, you all seem to be dead. Although actually there are no corpses anywhere. So maybe you all left? Except the one guy, of course. Karinia. I've been kind of concerned about something. If one of you would be willing to discuss it with me, do you know my find us Dree unintelligent? It's no secret that you guys have way more technology than we do, and I just wanted to make sure you don't see us as inferior or something like that. Azola says, yes, we hate you and we're evil. No, of course not. You are all no less intelligent than us. It's just that the different demands of our species caused us to develop different areas of expertise. We Nomai are defined by our nomadic lifestyle and inquisitive nature. Because of this, our species put a high priority on the development of advanced technologies that would allow us to travel to faraway places. You Dree, on the other hand, had to contend with the hostile environment of the Bramble, so you focused on development that facilitated your survival. This led to several impressive developments, chief among them your ability to commune with the plant on a level we Nomai have never observed in all of our travels. And Okalis adds on, if it weren't for you all and your carefully developed relationship with the Bramble, the four of us would not have survived. And Karinia says, I really appreciate your honesty, Nasia. I guess it's just another difference between our people that we can use to help each other out. I don't know, man. I'm holding out on a twist where they're all secretly evil. It does seem that they're putting on too much of a show for quite a while. Okay, so I've heard there's a method to repair gravity crystals. How do we do it? Karinia says, all you need to do is take your cracked crystal, place it in one of the hexagonal slots, and ring the correct bells. Specifically, you need to ring the bell 2 places left of the crystal, then directly to the right, and finally directly below. That's pretty simple. Any slot should work, as long as you can ring the bells. And yeah, that's impressive that harmonics can be used to repair gravity crystals. Well, music is very important to the Dree, so we're always excited when we hear a problem that it might solve. Okay, 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and then below. And since this one at the end is broken, we're going to need to put it here. Two to the left, 1 to the right, directly below. Cool. I worry that I'm like doing this all very slowly, and by the time I get to the magma zone, the loop will end and I'll just die. I will say it's like pretty satisfying putting together all the puzzles now that I've unlocked the alien language. Or does this need to be, like, continuous? I think it does need to be continuous. Oh, I almost died. Okay. What's the unidentified signal? Alien echolocation. Okay. Yeah, I guess we just start reading. Akalas asks, Nessia, do you mind if I ask a potentially sensitive question? It's about Amalax and I, so I understand if your recent loss is still too sore. I ask because you're the only one of us who has any experience with relationships. Okay, so he's asking for relationship advice. I don't know if it's a concern or what. I struggle to think of any concrete foundation for it. It's just that, well, everything seems to be going well between Amalax and I. I cannot help but worry. We're so fundamentally different, Nessia, not in our interests, but on a very foundational level. We're different species with different histories and customs, habits, and... Slow down, Okalis, I'm a bit lost. I suppose I simply have never heard of such a pairing, and fear that it may be something that fundamentally cannot work. Even the way our relationship began was, ultimately, the result of my failing to understand him and his customs. I'm just worried. I understand. If I may, however, I would argue your portrayal of the start of your relationship is inaccurate. You state that you failed to understand Amalax, but what I recall is that you struggled to understand him. It is a somewhat small distinction, but I believe it is important here. In particular, by struggling to understand him, you were ultimately successful, allowing your relationship to move forward. I hypothesize this will continue to be the case for the both of you, repeatedly struggling to come to an understanding, doing so, and moving forward together because of it. It sounds similar to my relationship with Seka. Seka and I had many moments where we struggled to come to an understanding. At the start of our relationship, we both thought ourselves quite clever, and it took some time to realize our interpretation of the other's words and actions were not always correct. Over time, we learned to do better, and to struggle to understand each other, as you and Amalex are doing. It took conscious effort to do so, but the mere fact that you came for advice shows that you're already committing that effort. I suppose you are correct. We both care deeply for each other, and as you said, we have already proven that we can overcome the barriers of our differences. Thank you, Nessia. You've been a great help. Oh, that's nice. And here's Diddlem. Hey, since you all have been working down here for so long, I thought I would come and let you know about a strange node I found the other day in Briar's Hollow. I tried to send one of those probes that you made in, but it seemed to lose signal immediately. I even tried tying a rope to one, but when I pulled on it, the rope snapped, and I barely dodged the shrapnel from the destroyed probe. Curious, do you have any intuition as to why this may have occurred? Were there any strange marks on the recovered shrapnel? It almost looked like it had been destroyed by the rope itself, but I know I didn't pull hard enough to cause that. I don't know if I could pull hard enough to cause that. Oh, so there's like a time dilation or something. Is that why the loop ends immediately because I go straight to the end of the loop? Is that why there's a living guy in there? Because he's stuck in time? Karina's really unnerved by it. She's calling for the node to be destroyed using poison from the venomous reject. Nobody can remember any story of such a node in all of our history, and nobody feels safe with it around. It's not normally our nature to destroy something that could be studied, but if your people are so troubled by its presence, then we will have to do our best to eliminate the threat. We will simply have to make do with the other mysteries of the Bramble. Thanks. I'll let Karina know you'll take care of it. Okay, so it does, with the fact too that you launch your scout in and then it takes like 5 seconds to come out, it does sound to me like there's some sort of time dilation-y thing going on, so maybe there's a guy in there, maybe when you destroy it, the guy's gonna pop out, we're gonna have a little chit-chat. Unfortunately, analysis of the eye's signal is not promising. I'm unable to ascertain its location, and am able to derive similarly little information about its purpose. That's unfortunate. An update. The signal may yet be of use. We have proposed, and our friends have agreed, that the signal may be the final component required for the distant node project to carry us to the eye. Excellent. I will set about collecting a complete recording of the signal as soon as I can. It may take some time due to the noise from the feedback, but it should be achievable. With the analysis of the eye's signal consuming most of our time, travel has become a significant time sink. Due to this, I have brought my side research here, so that I can continue work on it during downtime in the study of the signal. Can I ask what this side research is about? Who's even talking right now? Zanetti's talking. Zanetti is doing more research into the alien's physiology. In particular, I wish to perform further analysis on the high-pitched tones that they use for echolocation. I brought a recording of those tones here. Feel free to study it yourself as well. You know, I always welcome your insight. Right, so I feel like this was to give me this frequency, but I already had it. Zanetti's like, what levers do I have to press? And Ocalis, why are you talking in alien language? If I remember correctly, all the levers should be on, except for the second and the second to last. Thank you. May I ask why you wrote that in their language, though? I find it unlikely any of our new friends will visit this planet. It is my understanding the inverted gravity makes them quite uncomfortable. I am attempting to gain practice with their language, as I am preparing to make a more proper response to the gift Amalex left in my home. You sure you're not a puzzle creator trying to make their puzzle a bit trickier? So, not the second and not the second to last. And hopefully, this time I don't die instantly. Because yeah, what, it's like, there's just spikes. Okay, that was scary. Oh. Oh, that's... There we go. It was a bit hard to aim. How the heck do I get out of here? Okay, so this was about how Diddlem got lost, got stranded on the other side of the nursery. From what I understand, the smaller size of the juvenile fish renders them slower than the adults. Can we rush past them? No. I believe I may have a plan to rescue Diddlem, but I will need to conduct more research at the enzyme lab. Please make your way over there ASAP. I truly believe this idea is promising. I seem to have forgotten where the enzyme lab is. Can you remind me? Yeah, it's in one of the fish. It's pretty large. Should be plainly visible. An important note, remember to pet the fish's eye before attempting to enter the lab. Otherwise, the fish will likely digest you. Yeah, can't say I would have thought of that one. Now, before going there, I'm gonna go... I want to go to the quantum cave, because I want to take the scroll out of there. Then we go to the big fish. We pet the big fish on the eyeball. Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Don't do that. Stop looking at me like that. And to brush his eye. Pet. Oh. Here goes nothing. Let's see what this says. How do you suppose the rock works? Macroscopic, quantum, whatever. And this is the part that was blocked. Actually, I believe that I may have accidentally found an additional behavior of this rock. When one of the two main locations is blocked by a small object, such as a scroll or a writing staff, it seems that the rock moves to an additional third location. I theorize that this is due to the rock having an extremely low probability to appear in that location. However, it is forced into that superposition once the only other possibility is occupied. I have been calling this the rule of quantum probability. Right, so this is now how they're going to rescue Diddlem. Yes, I wanted to visit here quickly to confirm my suspicions, but I believe that we can use Kevin to cross the nursery and retrieve Diddlem. Sounds promising, but how do we get to Kevin without being attacked? Even worse, what do we do if Kevin brings us to the other side and then wanders away? A sensible concern, friend, but remember the Dree have already trained Kevin to come when hit in the eye with a small object. I'm sure that we will be able to construct some sort of launcher to take advantage of this behavior from a distance. So Kevin's teeth are large enough that we should be able to graft handles to them without causing him harm. Then we could have him carry us across the nursery, and none of the juveniles would suspect anything due to his presence. Sounds as if this will be our plan to rescue Diddlem then. Kevin has proven easy to train in the past, so it should be doable in a reasonable time frame. I'll be glad when this is done, primarily because it will mean that Diddlem is back to safety, but also it will be recompense for the incident when we first approached Magma's recursion. So I guess one of the anglerfish over there was missing a tooth, and I just didn't notice. It seems that the majority of this anglerfish's internal volume is taken up by this central cavity rather than organs. But how can that be? They seem to be large predators. How could they have such a small space for their stomach? I do not believe that they have any stomach at all. Instead, this interior cavity is normally flooded with a free-floating digestive enzyme, allowing the fish to entrap and consume any organic matter that it can fit inside its mouth. Additionally, the fact that the enzyme disperses upon petting the eye of the fish is likely not a trained behavior, as it seems unlikely that the Dree would have had any need for such a thing. I believe that, instead, this may allow juvenile fish to brush against the eye of an adult to gain access to their prey. Yeah, well, whatever it is, I don't like it. Armed with this new knowledge, I went to the nursery to meet Kevin. No, you got 2 teeth. You also have 2 teeth. You also have 2 teeth. You all have 2 teeth. Gonna hit you in the eye. Oh. Oh, that's Kevin then. Kevin, I'm scared. Oh yeah, it's the little middle tooth is missing. Hi Kevin. Where are the handlebars on this? I wasted a ton of time being unable to find where the handles were, so the loop was really close to ending at this point. Well, we're moving. Alrighty, thank you, Kevin. It's certainly much more interesting than the the scuffed exploit equivalent. The music stopped. That worries me. Rightfully so. So I will not be able to return with the poison, but I will be able to read some text. Yikes. I see what this is Diddlem. I see what Karina was getting so worked up about. This place is really creepy. It feels unnatural, like the bramble doesn't want it here. I'm just gonna poke around a little bit and then leave. I can't believe that the Nomai can stand to be here more than a few minutes. Okay, that's probably not good. There was a massive creaking sound a few minutes ago, like wood splintering. Probably about time for me to take my leave. Okay, definitely not good. When I exit this dimension, it seems like I end up on the far side of the nursery instead of near Shattered Hearth. I don't really have any way to get across with all the baby fish there, so I guess I'll just sit here and we'll wait for a rescue. Okay, so it's been a few hours and nobody's come. Are they not able to get across the nursery? I hadn't even considered that. Am I going to die here? It's been a couple of days now, and still no sign of anyone. I'm starting to lose hope. Maybe the Nomai are trying to find a way, but after this long, I'm probably already being mourned back home. Maybe I should chance it with the fish. I know that I won't starve for another week or 2. Okay, I'm really getting desperate. It's been a week. I think it's time. I'm not gonna make it across. Wait, hold on. Is that somebody? 4 somebodies? The Nomai? By the Bramble, they actually figured out a way across. Okay. Oh, and there was text inside too. Was it here? It was here. The Dree, blah, blah, blah. What about the toxin? I can do it. I know my way around the deep bramble. Wait, what can he do? How do we deliver it? I'll deliver it. I can handle whatever happens. If you're certain, then that will be our plan. We will create a specialized mount and injector. So I think that just means that it's Diddlem who's inside the, inside that seed. This next loop, I wasted no time getting to the venomous reject and grabbing the toxin injector. I mean, what I'm hoping is going to happen is that Diddlem, who is presumably trapped inside some sort of time dilation thing, is gonna pop out, and then I'm gonna be like, sorry bro, literally everyone's dead and you're next. I don't know. And then he's gonna go, well, that sucks, and that'll be that. This place is whack. Don't go in there. Wait. Don't leave. Was there anything else that came out of it? Nope. Okay, I think I have at long last changed my mind about these guys all just being evil. Wait, yeah. I imagine he would have just went back, like, to his house. I figured Didylum would have swam back to their house, but I'd only found Karinia and Amalax's houses previously, and I couldn't find Didylum anywhere around here. I ended up asking someone who played the mod before where he might have gone, and they gave me this super cryptic answer, which made me figure, okay, well, he didn't go to his house then, else you would have just said he went to his house. So in the end, I decided to just follow the alien echolocation signal coming from Magma's recursion, since I figured that maybe that was him. Okay, well, I have nothing better to go off of. Or no, yeah, that's the music in the whatever place. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the quantum cave. Presumably the quantum cave leads to the whatever thing. The distant node project. And then presumably they went to the distant node I don't know. So... and then we put this there. And then it's not there, which is good. That means it's in the other place. And actually, what? I don't understand. I was getting confused here because I wasn't noticing that there was already a rock that had been placed to block the other possible quantum shard location. What? Why did that take me here? There was nothing blocking it. Okay, whatever. What? Sure. Meditation log 134. Setting up now. Just need to put my writing staff somewhere. Here will do. Okay, sitting down, closing my eyes, and breathing. In and out. I was skeptical at first, but this truly was a brilliant suggestion on Karina's part. These meditation sessions are making everything that's occurred much more bearable. Though she does find my choice of location strange, I cannot help that it is the best for this exercise. I'm convinced this stone has something to do with the eye. Meditating a topic makes me feel closer to the eye and, by extension, the rest of our clan. It's hardly been any time at all, and I can already feel my body ignoring the stifling heat of this planet. Wait, no. I'm certain that it is noticeably cooler in this cave than it normally is. What's going on? I'm not in the cave anymore. It seems that I've somehow managed to find myself somewhere else entirely. Incredible, it's so green. In a way that I have never seen the bramble. Just what is this place? Did you bring me here, my wandering friend? Is this place important somehow? I must find a way out and tell the others. Something tells me this is a very crucial discovery. I hope the guy came here. It's gonna be annoying to have to repeat that part. This is the place I mentioned, friends. The strange chamber that the wandering rock has seen fit to bring us. It is my intention to bring Karina here as well. Azola says I would have to agree, Nasia. I do not recall ever seeing a place where the plant looked quite this alive. And Karinia is here? How did you find this? This is incredible. I can hardly believe I didn't think any living creature would ever be allowed to find it. What is it? What are you talking about? You never thought anyone would be allowed to find it? What even is it? This is the heart of the bramble. I know it. I can feel it deep, deep in my bones. The entire plant grows from this spot, this very spot, below our feet. Can you feel its life concentrated here, growing from here? Oh, she can commune with the bramble very directly. I could speak to it in hear and be heard as I have never been before. This may be the most significant discovery for my species since, well, in all of our barely recorded history. Commune with the bramble as you never have before. Karinia, you've given me an amazing idea. I will visit you when I can to discuss it, but I need to make sure that it is all correct in my own head first. I will speak with you shortly. Yeah, what, they will the bramble to grow to the eye of the universe? Okay, Karinia and I have been discussing a plan of mine to see if it is feasible, and we seem to be in agreement that it is worth an attempt. Friends, I believe it may finally be the time for us to make our way to the eye. We believe that, utilizing the better communication granted by the heart, we can get the bramble to grow a node near the eye of the universe. Then we would be able to cross through a linked node here and arrive there instantly. This is quite a bold plan. This is Azola. Much of the foundation seems to be based on unsure concepts with which we have not been able to properly experiment. Do you truly believe this can work? Yes, we do. Then it sounds as if we have much work ahead. Everyone begin preparations. It is time to construct the distant node project. In this place, the heart of the bramble, we believe we have discovered the means by which we can finally reach the eye of the universe. Oh, we're not even saying who's saying what now. Being here allows us to commune with the bramble like never before, to hear and be heard by in a way that our people have never been able to. Through a joint effort between the Nomai and the Dree, we believe we may finally reach the eye, encouraging the bramble to grow a node near our destination. Okay, is Buddy just at the eye then? Presumably he was aware of this. The contribution of the Nomai will be the apparatus by which the node will grow. By exercising our skills in bioengineering, we will construct a machine that will allow for the rapid growth of a bramble node. This will be the gate through which we step to reach the eye. The part of the Dree will be to commune with the bramble, to convince it to grow a distant node that will bring us to our destination. To do this, the bramble will be primed for communion, and the Dree themselves will attempt to attune themselves to the signal left behind by the eye. This will be the carrier that allows the gate to function. Okay, but why would you guys do this and like presumably all leave, but leave someone behind in that one thing? I don't understand. We are the Nomai, and we will no longer wallow in misery at every discovery we cannot make. We are the Dree, and we will not fade to dust while the means to improve our lot is within our grasp. We are the conjoined clan, 2 species as one. We will go forth unto new wilds together. Oh, that's cute. I feel bad that I thought they were really evil at the start. Diddlem, I think you might want to wait to kill that dangerous node until later. Why? I think it might be some sort of parasite on the bramble, although I can't be sure. I think waiting to kill it until just before putting the project into motion may put us in the bramble's good graces. Okay, sounds like a plan. Once we're ready to grow the node, I'll go and kill the dangerous one, then come right back. 281,000 years ago, lockdown initiated due to sudden increase in internal temperature and radiation. Heat and radiation is dissipated, lockdown procedure removed. What? Oh, there's a guy, yeah. There's a guy in there. Is everyone dead? Oh. Wow. They really are all dead. Oh, that's Amalax and Ocalis. They got the necklaces on. This is really sad. Hi, Diddylum. Hey, I got an achievement progress for that. Hello? Oh. I don't understand. How could this happen? The recording... Did the bramble do this? Was it lured in by the heat of the star, thinking that it could feed on it? Everyone... I counted them, and everyone's gone. My people, the Nomai, I'm the only one that was spared. Even Leoloma, she still has my poem. The buildings on Magma's recursion were only ruins. Why were they ruins? How long has it been? I thought that I was only gone for a few minutes. Is this my fault? Did I not come back fast enough? Should I never have brought the Nomai to us? I know everyone was nervous about newcomers, but I was so excited to see something, someone new. I don't understand. Please, please, I can't be the only one left. I can't be alone. I don't want to be alone. Yeah, so everyone died. And there's a poem. Okay, the bramble is primed. It's now or never. Diddlem has yet to return from his task. Should we not wait for his assistance? I would really like to, but I can't guarantee how long the bramble is going to stay in this state. If we don't do this now, we might never get another chance. I suppose we must proceed? Nessia, Senetti, is the equipment in place? Everything is ready. The equipment should automatically supply nutrition to the node as the bramble grows it. Excellent. Ocalis, Amalax, you two are the visual and auditory organs of this operation. Notify everyone if anything seems amiss. Karinia, we are ready for you all to begin. Okay, everyone follow my lead. Try and guide the bramble to the eye. I think it's working. The bramble is heeding our calls. I can feel it probing, searching for the source of the signal. Something feels wrong. Is the eye supposed to be big and hot? I swear that the bramble is focusing on something of that nature. Big and hot, no aspect of the eye signal suggests it should have either of those qualities. Unless a star. Azola, we need to shut off the project now. The bramble is attempting to grow the distant node in the core of a star. Nessia, shut off all the equipment. Everyone direct the bramble away. We cannot allow it to. And they all got roasted. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. You guys kind of screwed up. Uh, can't lie. So after learning everyone died, we sit with Didulum until the loop ends, and we've completed Forgotten Castaways. However, as is the case with Echoes of the Eye and also many story mods, it's not over until we venture to the Eye of the Universe. Not all of the Nomai made it onto one of the 3 escape pods. While many perished in the initial crash of the vessel, 4 ended up warping deeper into the Bramble. They met another species named the Dree, and the 2 groups shared their cultures with one another. Together they made a plan to reach the Eye of the Universe. Unfortunately, this plan failed, killing the 4 Nomai and all of the Dree, save one who was not present at the time. There we go. That sounds like a Dree if I've ever heard one. Oh. Oh, okay. That's very cool. That's very far as well. Here lies the conjoined clan, Nomai and Dree united as one. Together we explored, celebrated, and discovered new perspectives that would have been impossible apart. We hope you will carry our memory with you. So you're kinda freaky looking. Talk to Didylum. Thanks for remembering me, but I don't think we're ready yet. I could still hear music coming from the trees. Go on, make sure you get everyone. So I gathered up all the other travelers to continue our conversation. I'm ready to join in whenever you are, but I understand if you have some questions first. Someone as curious as you, it's the least you deserve. Do you regret meeting the Nomai? I don't think so. Seeing how it ended, it would be easy to say that we never should have met them. That, if it weren't for those 4, my species might still be alive. At the same time, though, I think they brought out a side of us that we needed. Their curiosity and tenacity rubbed off on us, and I like to think that the best parts of us rubbed off on them. We made each other better in a lot of ways. Plus, the alternative to meeting them would be them dying alone, far, far away from home. They wouldn't have deserved that. So no, I'm certain that I don't regret meeting them. I'm sorry about what happened to your people. It's okay. Don't get me wrong, it still hurts a lot. But I guess we had to go eventually. Just happened to be a bit sooner than you Hearthians. For what it's worth, I'm sorry about what happened to your people too. Did you ever get to see the stars? I mean, he's got no eyes. Afraid not. Kinda hard to do that without eyes, you know? The Nomai described them a lot though. Like billions of deafeningly loud noises, dulled down to gentle whispers by inconceivable distances. Even if they did ultimately do us in, they sound like they were quite a wonder to behold. Nobody else has much to say. Why do you? I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe it has something to do with you not knowing me as much as the others, so there are more blanks to fill in. Maybe I was the only one technically alive when you entered the Eye, so I came here in a more complete state. I think it's fitting, though. You stayed and kept me company when I was the last of my people, and now I get to return the favor. About the song, you ready for me to start? I've been waiting quite a while to get to sing with others again. Yeah, sounds good. Let's see what happens next. So many possibilities, just waiting for someone to decide which one gets to come true. Do you think there will be a lot of people in the next one? Do you think they'll get the chance to meet, to talk, to share ideas? I hope so. Me too. Guess there's only one way for them to find out, huh? And with that, the credits roll. I have to say, great job to Coder Cleric, to their spouse, I now understand that earlier Easter egg, and also to the rest of the team. And after the credits are done, they top it off with a custom addition to the post-credits scene. So that ending though, that was quite the downer, which I guess just goes to show that they really succeeded in getting me invested in the characters, that their fates actually affected me. Quite a good mod, interesting setting, interesting characters, some great set pieces, great character-driven story. Overall, I really liked it, and I think it's definitely one of the best story mods that has come out so far. So anyway, if after over 2 hours you still want to see some more Outer Wilds story mods, I have some other playthroughs you can watch. I got other Outer Wilds stuff you can watch. You could, like and subscribe and comment or something. I don't know. Okay, bye.